me and Marco are hoping to pick back up an old, I don't know if I can call it project, but project template that we started working on, well, a good few months ago, um, which is for .NET. I guess you call it .NET or .NET Core. Um, the current one, I guess it just doesn't really leverage or realize many of the benefits of GitLab, right? And also of .NET and or C Sharp. It doesn't really show some of the stuff that it's capable of doing and how powerful it is and how to do it. So both of us working in primarily .NET shops have had to figure a lot of this stuff out for ourselves through the kind of painful way and learn lessons. And only more recently we started sharing some of those with each other. And it seemed like a good opportunity to maybe try and rework the project template from the ground up. But as it's a while since we looked at this, we need to remind ourselves where we got to, what's next, etc. So let's work our way through, I guess.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so we wanted to, or one of my goals, I think, was to, like, even though this is a project template which you can just go, right, I'm going to create a new project and use this template, I almost don't expect people to do that. I
Yeah.
almost think that half of the time people should just kind of follow the guide and just use this as a more of a how-to and tutorial almost, as much as like a template. Just because one of the things I noticed in here was um, where we said, we don't want too many dependencies and people should be able to pick what they want. But yet we want to demonstrate quite a few different concepts, potentially using things like SQL Server and entity framework, configuration, web APIs. Oh, here you go, NuGet package, etc. So
Yeah.
if we create something that kind of does a lot of that, and then it makes it easier to just pick and choose. But I know we got a little bit distracted when we started playing with secrets management or
Yeah.
secret protection, etc. So
Yeah. We also talk about, because you can't actually have a template that covers all of the things that you can do with .NET, because you can have web APIs, you can libraries, you can have basically anything. But I don't. Is it? How should we do that? I mean, we thought about subdividing it into subfolders, for example, for the different projects.
yeah, I would say, and I mean, I'd be interested to understand how it differs from your kind of project structure, actually. But we, so I'm not going to go for the craziest of examples, but if we've got an app that's maybe got a Vue front end and a web API back end,
Yeah.
we would tend to have a single Git project,
Yes.
or GitLab project, I guess I should say, with a single solution, Visual Studio, .NET solution, whatever you want to call it, and then with multiple .NET projects inside of it.
Yep.
So I think that was sort of the rough conversation we had and route that we were considering going down.
Yeah.
Um, and that seems like maybe a logical place where we should start. Going to just reopen that and reopen this to maybe move some of these random notes that are in this issue. And if we put anything on here, okay, yeah, that's cool. So as we go, we're gonna, so we should sort of say what we're trying to achieve. I'm going to scribble it at first, I guess. So Pick and choose what you want. Demonstrate. And then somewhere in here we were saying, web API, NuGet package, console app.
Yeah, there are even some things that we could show this template, but that's more like a tutorial than a template. Because, for example, if you want, we could very easily set up a NuGet repository, a package repository to deploy our console applications, or anything else that we can do with GitLab. But is it that really related to a template, or is it more tutorial?
Good question. So I'm just going to scribble a few things. I might want to separate this into sections of some sort.
Yeah.
So even that kind of ties in right with coverage and code.
There is a lot of noise from the mic. It's like you're brushing on it.
The mic's at the top. Oh, actually, I don't know where it is. I'm typing on this keyboard, so I don't know if it's the mic is near the keyboard.
I don't know. That happens while you're typing, so I don't know.
I'll try and be a bit more delicate on my keyboard. So I did have an external one somewhere, but I don't know. So web API, NuGet package, console app. We're thinking possibly like SQL entity framework / SQL.
Yeah, well, that could be, at least entity framework might be included in the web API as the database backend.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll have to figure out, because I wonder whether with like these three things, I don't know actually. Yeah, because the whole thing we want to demonstrate is with CI how we can spin up an environment whereby we can like test the web API, which relies on the SQL Server, albeit that this is where I think we'll have some really interesting conversations, because I mean, maybe it is how GitLab works, but so with GitLab, when we do requests tests, does it actually, it does spin it up an environment, right? And it is actually hitting a database and.
Yeah, because for example, if you run the backend test, the Ruby specs,
yeah,
if you don't have your JDK started, it complains about not having a database.
perfect.
So yeah, they must be running on some database.
Yeah. I would like to, in the future at some point, learn more about, you can use, is it a different EF provider, or you can use an in-memory database, or you can do something.
You can use an in-memory database with the entity framework. Actually, for what I use it, from what I had a look when I tried to set up tests for the API and the database backend, they suggest you to use an in-memory database.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm not really an expert on that, so yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just checked, by the way, our bot's done a nice little job.
On Twitter also?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was going to possibly retweet it, but.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
And if Twitter's being good or not. Right. Okay. So Yeah, so I want to flesh this out a bit more in a minute. So flesh out the README. So Cocoa Ridge, linting. If that's
Linting.
the right term. So kind of linting / what do they call it in .NET world? It's an analyze, something code analyzers, something analyzer.
Yeah. Because code analyzers. Well, I always refer to it by linting because that's easier.
Yeah, it's hard because some of it's more what would you call it? More just like, oh yeah, lay it out in this way, and other things are like, well, you've got unused variables, and
Yeah.
I guess there is different types of, but I think that's good. So CI/CD, yeah. So I definitely think deploying would be good, albeit that again, as you say, we have to figure out to what extent, and I guess prioritize, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, deploying, for example, the NuGet and the console application, we could easily run. Example of deployment, the web API. That's kind of impossible almost, because we would need to have an environment on some sort to deploy to.
Yeah. So So okay, I feel like that's covered everything off in that one.
Yeah.
Should we have README for each project so we don't get conflicts?
Yeah.
I guess we could elaborate a bit on each one, right? So we could, although part of my temptation is to do it in here. So if we were to have, I don't know, something like this, uses blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It might be easier to kind of view it all in one plan. I think the conflicts that we were talking about was we were worried if me and you were being exceptionally proactive and working on, different MRs at the same time, and that we might, but I'm not sure if we really need to update. But yeah, I definitely really like the idea of doing this. So using this as much of a guide.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what do we pick and choose what you want? Demonstrate web API, NuGet package, console, FSQL, configuration, CI test, CD deploying. My temptation, I do really want to make it a bit nicer. What else have we got in here?
Configuration.
Oh yeah, so splitting the CI files, good idea, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that for sure. Because if we subdivide the projects in subfolder, we could have our main CI file, including every single file. Yeah. We could even have different pipelines showcasing a pipeline for the project. If for example, if you want to do child pipelines from the main one and create one for every project, so they're kind of isolated.
What could you see any benefit in doing that?
Oh, no benefit. So only showcasing how child pipeline works, and basically
Okay.
that, and some isolation. Nothing more than that.
Post and see if anyone else wants to collaborate. Okay, so auto do it, then tweak to match. Have something towards database. Start by creation. Okay, so okay. What I don't know what to do is I might just create a merge request.
And work on that.
Yeah, I don't know whether this is the sort of thing that I might prefer to sort of get my head down. And do you know what I mean? It's maybe not the most fun thing to do, like a live session going through this. So and I don't know whether it's no, I'll leave these issues. I'm a bit on the fence. Part of me is tempted to like close the issues.
Well, we can close them when the merge request is done.
I think that's better, isn't it? I have a slight sort of because I'm not using issues in GitLab at work yet. I have a slight kind of concern when I do start using them around duplication. When you've got like an open merge request that you're kind of tracking work in two different places. We can discuss that another time. Right. So then we've got separate issues for a NuGet project, web API project, database project. Potentially UI testing. So maybe I should add that to that work in progress MR that I just spun up.
Yeah, UI tests for what kind of project?
I guess that would have to be more of a MVC, would you call it? Like a Razor, or dare I mention it because I've never used it before? Is it Blazor or whatever the WebAssembly?
Yeah, that Blazor, I never used it anyway. Yeah, because that's the only kind of project that we could write UI tests in .NET. Because if we want to have a .NET backend, but I don't know, React or Vue front end, they're not related to .NET.
Yeah. Good point.
Razor or Blazor?
I don't know if I'm prepared to open up that. I don't know if I call it like Pandora's box, or I would be really interested actually, but I made a conscious decision to go like with Vue. So I hope I've not shot myself in the foot too much. So that seems a bit generic. Let's just have a quick look at this. So in SQL, we have some duplication.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I've got a specific. Could we draw it up? Maybe store it in a variable. Isn't really needed on the SQL. Okay. I don't know how. It doesn't seem apt at this point in time. I feel like we kind of need to step back a little bit.
Yeah.
And work out what we need actual content right now. So we've got a class library. What does it do?
Nothing.
Not a lot. A couple of methods in there. A couple of classes in there.
Yeah.
And our YAML. Okay, so we're using caching. We've got a build stage. Does a restore and a build. We've got a test stage. Does a restore and test. Okay, well that's all good. I wonder. Is there anything else for like a class?
We could add some linting to check the code formatting and things like that.
Yeah, good thinking. So what my frustration is at the moment. Let me just have a. Oh, what did I do? I want to have a look at merged.
Also, I think we could skip secret detection for the moment because they're not actually finding anything until they provide a more general purpose detection, I guess.
Yeah, we don't find it works very well, do we? So,
No.
so I'm surprised, confused. What's the word I'm looking for? Why this? Because I was expecting this MR to show our code coverage visualization.
Yeah, you added that. Yeah, that should be.
And it's got this, so it's showing class lib, class 1, class lib, class 2. It all seems to be there.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe they are. Oh no, the artifacts are old.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That maybe like after a certain, I don't know what would cause it to do that though. You would have thought that.
Well, we can try running a pipeline and check if they come. They get picked up.
Just on this old MR.
Yeah. Breaking the YAML. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, I broke it deliberately for some reason by the looks of things.
Yeah, but
has it been fixed since the merge request in a separate?
Well, they're all passing.
They were at that point in time. So, but then surely this branch is probably gone now, right?
Oh yeah, that might be the problem because the pipeline can't run because it's not finding the branch.
Gotcha. So, what if I was to?
Well, we have an MR.
True, but we won't see. We've not made any changes to those.
Oh yeah.
We won't see them on the what's it. If I do something like change there.
Inception. My cats
fair, we should
destroying
not.
the sofa.
What was that? Sorry, Marco.
My cats are destroying my sofa. They're playing around and they're making a mess.
Oh, well, I expect you could hear my kids rowing this morning, but
I heard them before.
the eldest is on the way to, I say school. It's like preschool.
Oh yeah, it's that time.
So yeah, hopefully when the youngest gets back, she'll be a bit happier because they're not squabbling. Okay, so pipeline's still running.
Yep.
Use me, so that makes sense why it's not. So the thing with the linting is kind of tricky, maybe not. That I don't know how you've set it up in the past. We're actually using the editor config, and we're using, I think it's StyleCop, which.
Okay, I heard that before. Yeah, I actually my linting is only on the editor side because we were using editor config and I haven't set up a CI job to actually do the linting.
So that's kind of what I was getting at, actually, that we don't have a separate job because it's all built into the build essentially. So I don't know if we could have a separate job, if we would even want a separate job. I don't imagine we really do.
Yeah, that's
Unless you did something weird where you sort of removed the editor config or renamed it or did something when you run the build so that it sort of gives you more chance of the build passing, but then had a separate job that used the editor config and did the build. But it seems a bit pointless to me. I don't know.
yeah, because you're basically doing the same thing, building
Yep.
twice. Yeah, that's not really
There we go.
that helpful. Yeah.
So it's working, so that's good. I guess we might need some kind of, I don't know, maybe we don't need any kind of screenshot or anything. Maybe we just link to the documentation, the GitLab documentation.
Coverage.
Yeah, just because I wanted to prove and remind myself that it was working. Oh, actually, this is working as well, right? So,
Oh yeah, because this is an ultimate trial license. So yeah, you have that.
so we should mention that, I think, as well.
Well, that's if we link to the docs, it's actually covered in there because they say the test actually ran, but you don't have the widget on the AMR.
But you have to. It's because I think it's because we've got. What bit is it?
Cobertura. Oh, coverage report.
Yeah, I can never remember which way round it is. I think the cobertura thing does the visualization, but it's maybe this bit or this bit that does the list of water tests passed and failed. And
Okay.
so yeah, I feel like it's worth putting in there that linting code coverage percentage, test coverage visualization, and MR widget test result widget. Does that terminology seem?
Yeah, we can get around that.
Just so we remember to flesh these things, because what's important is, or at least I think, is everything I kind of did for a reason, rather than the current repo is a bit like, I don't understand why it's got certain stuff in and it doesn't do a lot of things. So I want to try and capture, right, okay, well, this is why we've done that and this is why we've done that, and so that it kind of makes a bit of sense. And maybe it will be in 2 parts. Maybe it will be, here's the project template and here's a blog post all about the project template. But I think if we can document as part of the repository and the README and wherever else, then it saves us having to have a separate blog post and then keeping the 2 things in sync.
Yeah, that's also more manageable and not manageable, more you can find that easier more my English. Yeah, you got it.
Discoverable, maybe.
Yes.
Awesome. So I might close that. I'm going to close it and delete the branch and see if the visualization is still there.
Oh, yeah. I guess the visualization might still be there, but the artifacts will expire sometime.
Right. But the artifacts were still on the original MR that wasn't showing the visualization. So that was quite weird.
Yeah, and also you were able to download that.
Exactly, yeah. So they were definitely there. So it's still showing.
Yeah.
We'll revisit it at a later stage and see if it's still...
Set a reminder in a week to check.
Right, so I guess the README and the issues are a good place to... That's kind of what I'm... yeah. I don't know. I don't mind the duplication at the moment. At some point, I might get a bit stressed out by the fact that we've got that list here as well as in here. So I don't know if I'm brave enough to embark on something like a web API project at the moment. I'm tempted to tackle a slightly easier one, like maybe NuGet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things I haven't really done, so I guess I should try and do now, is to check this project out.
Oh yeah, actually, I never did that on this Mac also. This just demonstrate that we haven't been working on this for the past 2 months.
Don't even know if I've got the right sort of libraries and other bits and pieces on. I probably haven't on this laptop. So if I try, let's just open that folder.
Well, you could run code space dot from the command line to open a new window.
That's handy. That's handy. Terminal. So yeah, what happens if I try and run?
Do you have .NET installed? Yeah. No.
Is that easy, Marco, on Mac?
Oh yeah. Let me. It should be fairly easy. Here. I sent a link to the download.
Thank you. .NET Core install Mac OS. Do you need anything special? Oh, there is an ARM one. I wonder if I should.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Download. Oh yeah. Ooh, .NET 7. No, it's release candidate too soon. SDK, Mac OS. Yeah, you should go with ARM.
I'll brave this one. See what happens.
Hey, Preview 3. Isn't this an LTS version?
I guess it's the ARM bit of it that's preview, or the Mac. I don't know. Because I know I've installed Visual Studio 2022 preview something or other on my VM because Visual Studio currently doesn't support ARM.
Well, I actually have the link to the 6.0.401 macOS ARM64 installer, not preview.
Oh, so you think there's this is actually an old version potentially?
Yep. 6.9.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I stupidly didn't pick the latest. That's my poor googling for you.
Yeah. So you're using Visual Studio 2022 in the office?
I don't know if the team have moved yet. I think it will be a case of we tend to do more of a natural upgrade path, if that makes sense. So if they get a new laptop or so if something happens, but because it's quite a small team, it's not too painful if we do decide that we all want to upgrade.
Yeah. We're still using 2017, and Visual Studio started saying that this version is not supported anymore.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. The painful thing is, at least for C++, is the dependencies we need. If we change the compiler, we change the actual dependencies, so that's kind of a nightmare.
Right.
It can get easier than this.
It can do what, sorry?
It can't get easier than this. Just download .NET SDK and run .NET Restore.
That looks promising, right? Didn't complain. To be honest, I could have just done build anyway, couldn't I?
Did you notice, Niklas?
What's that, sorry?
Did you notice the message from Niklas?
No, I have not.
We're streaming as bot test.
Oh, I keep meaning to update. Right, let's do it now. I don't know what it will do midstream if I try and update it. So, what do we normally call these streams? Live coding session 17, I think this is. I've updated it. I don't know if it'll work mid-stream or whatever, but okay. So the good thing is I've got an environment where I can do the build. I don't really know. I guess people are encouraged now to build .NET apps in VS Code, right? And we should, if we're thinking about cross-platform, cross-OS, cross whatever, we shouldn't really use Visual Studio. We should use VS Code.
Yeah, but even if we actually use Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, that's not really a problem, because I found that on the CI job to build, you can specify the target platform. For example, I have one project that I'm compiling the same exact code, specifying Mac OS, Unix, and Windows are targets.
Yeah.
And just creates 3 different executables.
Yeah, it's not so much the binaries I'm worried about. It's more the development environment and
Oh,
making sure that things like our linting and our just that the project plays nicely in the development environment. I guess because I know, or I'm fairly sure that all of our projects in the office would be a bit of a nightmare to get working in VS Code, and I don't think you'll get the inline linting, etc., because it's relying on Visual Studio's built-in kind of configuration, etc. So I'd probably prefer to use VS Code to build it. Maybe we'll open it in Visual Studio at some point to see if it behaves well. But I would prefer to probably kind of build it. Okay, so we're building, which is good. Now, do you see a problem with using the class library project as the project to both test, not test, sorry, to for the NuGet, if that makes sense?
oh yeah, that makes total sense because we can create a class library that gets deployed as a NuGet package.
Perfect. So it's .NET 6, which is fine. I mean, it means that there's a dependency, I presume, on any project that we want to consume this fake project dependency has to be running at least .NET 6 is.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
I don't know if they. Yeah.
This, it doesn't matter. Like we tend to use, I can't remember if we use .NET Standard still or something like that, because we've got some like .NET Framework
Yeah.
bits and pieces. But so
Well, this is a template, so we can use all the new stuff, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just trying to. I might just open one of our recent NuGet packages to remind myself how we've actually implemented some of this stuff. So without, I don't know how I would do it without like VS, where I would just go like this and do kind of package ID.
I don't know if there is actually a command from the .NET command lines interface. Step 1, create a simple package. Step 2, build and pack your project from Visual Studio.
So I'll share the window that I'm looking at the moment. This one looks like it might be more helpful. I might be wrong, but create class library, add package metadata, which is exactly what I was just doing.
Yeah.
So author and company. I wonder if they're mandatory or not. And version, I would really like to inject using some magic. So,
well, I guess for version, we can get it from to read from the environment variables.
Yeah, possibly. Let me just, I will quickly find what we're doing. I know I've shared it with you before. So I do exactly that. I do. So let's start looking at this. So test stage test. So we're going to want to split this up at some point, but I call this deploy. test. Do you know if there's a convention or a standard or a best practice in terms of like snake case? What's it? I've been using this in some places, which I find really weird. But
yeah, I started using columns, then I switched over to underscores, then I actually settled on dashes.
Yeah, I used to use snake case for everything, and then like since getting involved in GitLab projects, I tend to be more kebab case. So I'll go with that for the moment. So stage is that. That's what I'm doing at the moment, and hopefully this isn't going to be too controversial, because I know you've got your semantic version in that you might help me to understand and implement it. But this is what we're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Which works quite nicely as a simple, easy, whatever you want to call it. But like, I guess using tags and stuff like that properly might be a better option, and we can tweak that in a minute. But so what do we need to? We need to be in the right place, or do we? I don't know whether we need to do sort of CD.
Yeah, you don't have this. Oh, yeah, you have the solution.
Yeah, I mean, I think .NET Pack would work at the moment.
Yeah.
I guess I can.
Right.
Yep. But my sort of concern, issue, whatever I want to call it, is that once we add all the other projects in, I guess .NET Pack, or will it? Do you think it will just ignore everything that hasn't got a package ID? Or
Well, it could. Is it ignoring the tests? I guess so. They don't have an ID.
yeah, I guess so, because that's just a class library, isn't it?
Yeah. But if we rely on that, then the first time we actually add a package ID, we might screw something up.
Yeah. Well, let's leave this in for now, right? To go into the class library folder and pack specifically in there, and as I say, we can tweak that if we desire. Although, oh yeah, I didn't pass the version, did I? I just did that, so that's fine. So that's not deploy NuGet though, is it? That's build NuGet. How what's the word I'm looking for? How keen, how important, what do you feel about like doing the pack or build or deploy or whatever? Like, do you really feel it's important to kind of separate? Because my job looks like exactly what we've got there, plus then something like then source. Path, which is going to be class there's a much nicer way of doing this as well. And I've got to remind myself how. Okay, so we're doing something a bit horrible. Well, I say it's horrible. Again, I'm open to maybe you like it, maybe you don't. So this is a project
Variable.
CI variable, exactly, or a project file variable.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of contains the URL and credentials to the NuGet repository.
Can't we use the CI JVT token to do that?
I'm sure we could do something cleverer. I don't know how permission. Okay, so there's a couple of issues or questions, issues. I don't know what you want to call it. So first thing is we push to a single NuGet repository,
Yeah.
as opposed to pushing to the project repository itself.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if there would be scope issues. Like, would a token that's available to us from within the script have access to other projects and groups, etc.? Probably
Well,
not.
I actually do something really similar for npm package, where I have a project that acts as a repository, and I don't have any problems, but I wonder if that's because my user has access to all the projects, because the token of the CI job inherits the permissions from the user who started the job.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be the case. Yeah. Project level endpoint. Publish by using CI/CD. Pack NuGet add source. Oh, I have a call. Excuse me for a moment.
Yeah, no worries at all. Publish a NuGet package with the .NET CLI. Using CI/CD, that's what we want. If you're using NuGet, job token can be used instead of a personal access token. Inherits permission of the user that generates the pipeline. Perfect. Just how to create a new package each time the main branch is updated. Nice. Oh, that makes life easier as well. Start a new package. Okay.
I'm back.
Hello. So I guess I figured what you were doing was the sensible thing that I should have been doing, which was to read the RTFM, as they would say. So yeah, that seems pretty nice, and that helped solve my problem as well. About although they're not using the full glob, they're just using like a hard coded path with the star at the end.
Okay.
But it seems to me if we've already moved into the right folder, that save us typing out, and then obviously depending on the person that's consuming, if somebody's copy pasting this template, we don't want them to have to make too many changes, I guess.
Yep.
So we probably need to kind of document this a little bit and maybe sort of suggest an I don't know if we need to suggest an alternative, but
well, we can always provide a link to find more about deploying to the NuGet package repository. You can find more on the documentation and provide a link.
Yep. So we don't need that anymore. I prefer it that way around. Okay, so should this actually work is the next thing I've got in mind. Like, I'm guessing we're going to want to purge these. Oh, okay. So actually, the documentation I was looking at. Oh, we should update this, shouldn't we, to use rules?
Yeah, I will. That was the next thing I was going to say, because if we run it like this, every pipeline will deploy to the NuGet package.
Yeah.
Well, we can test it because I tend to set the deployment to a manual trigger on the pipelines, and instead always run on the production branch, so we can test if we want to.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Actually, I quite like the idea of having it always as a manual thing, because let's say I pushed a docs update to production, or the web API project we pushed a change, or we could be even cleverer, and the rules actually allow us to say if certain files have changed.
Yep.
That being said, I don't know if we can do globby type things there and check the whole folder to see if any.
Well, yeah, because we can say if a file changed inside this directory or on subfolders, run this job. Otherwise, don't.
GitLab CI rules. Rules changes. So why is it taking me to oh yeah, sorry, there is a changes one in there. So this is complete nonsense. You tend to put your rules at the top or the bottom of your job step?
I tend to put them at the bottom. At the
I usually put my only an except at the bottom, so that seems good. So we want to see branch merge request pipe.
Well, it's you should, not you must.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand. So rules changes, branch pipe, because this would be on the pipeline once after the merge has been merged, right? Then a new pipeline runs on the new master.
Yes.
And that would show the changes. It should, yeah, because it's a commit.
Yeah, you're committing these files. So yeah, that should work.
Okay, perfect. So so is that what you would normally? There's a there's a default as well, isn't there, that you can use?
You can use CI default branch.
There we go. Be politically correct. Well, we don't need that. It's interesting. Okay. So our changes. An array of file paths. It's not. I can't see anywhere that it's explicitly saying whether that has to be a file or whether it's.
Well, it wouldn't make sense to not handle folders because otherwise you would need to specify every file of a project.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just because something doesn't make sense doesn't mean it doesn't work like that. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe if we need to pass a glob.
You would have thought it'd be documented here, right?
I've already seen that somewhere. Where did I see that?
Oh, here you go. Oh, they can include variables.
Here. That's it.
So you think we do need to do /star?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not very explicit, is it?
No, because that's an example for using a variable, but
yeah. Let's be good Samaritans. We won't spin up an MR, but we will raise an issue.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, wrong one.
I would add documentation to the title.
Absolutely. Thank you. You know what I mean, right? Because
Yeah.
so while you were on your call, I tried. What did I try? Where is it?
Oh, the glob to include the files.
Yeah, so I tried .NET NuGet push star, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I then did star star, that didn't work, but then I did star star slash star, and that did work. So
Yeah, because it's like a glob. A globbing, yeah.
so where were we looking before?
On the main, yeah, here.
I can never remember. Is it? Martin that does. What's it called? Categories and groups.
Oh,
Writer for plan. That's probably not right, is it?
that's package, I guess.
I would have thought it'd be verify actually pipeline somewhere in here.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about the NuGet.
Technical writer Marcel. Should definitely know that. Sorry, Mark. I should have as well.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, so we've got changes. So we're saying it's on the default branch. Changes to, so we do think we probably have to do that.
Yeah.
And so we're not too precious about this repo, right? If we push this and have a bit of a poke and maybe merge it, like I think what we're looking for is the end result, right? We might even spin up. In fact, this is going to end up in a repo inside a completely different namespace, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned about us merging and pushing up a bit of testy stuff before we finalize it.
Yeah, the only problem is that with these rules, we won't be able to test these the deployment until we actually merge.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could maybe add a rule to run the MR manually on the merge request, only to test this and then remove it once we know that it's working.
I have misunderstood that. But let me see what you think of if something.
Yeah.
Is it something like CI merge ID or
Yeah, that should work.
might be IID?
Oh. Or even checking the source.
Some people do it like that, don't they?
Yeah, that I actually recently found that it's not always working. For example, if you have an MR that you have a rule using that check, and
This one.
yeah, exactly. And if it's a child pipeline, you have to add a rule on the child pipeline to know if they basically have to match the rules.
Yeah.
But that check is not working. I had to add the old method, I guess, only to use the CI pipeline ID. Merge request ID, not pipeline ID.
So what I might do is start with that and just show that that doesn't work, and then we'll work our way up, adding more globbing as necessary.
But we didn't make any change to files, so this will never work. Oh no, we did, yeah, because we added the project
Package.
package.
Yeah. I think I'll get rid of that. I like your approach. I like the documented approach. I don't see any reason to. Cool. Oh, balls.
Oh, you pushed to the main?
Yeah.
That's why I always disable push to main, even from maintainers.
Yeah. On that note, let's do that. It's a bit late now, but
well, we can always check if the pipeline works.
I don't know why I've closed, or did I open up another? I think I've ended up with too many windows open.
Well, the pipeline is running.
So
And the deployment didn't get created. The job.
And what did I use? Okay. So I would definitely have expected that to work, wouldn't you?
Yeah, me too.
No.
Oh.
That was not what we wanted, was it? Right, okay. So I need to check out
CI commit branch.
You say CI commit branch?
Yeah. Well, we couldn't have tested this without pushing to the main, so.
So the only thing is now I'm going to need to make another change. Is that valid?
I don't.
Excuse me.
I don't know. Is it better to just make a change to one of the C# files?
To one of the yeah, I guess so. And I'm going to break tests though, right?
Well, you could remove the @ before the hello world string. It's not needed. Change the branch.
Yeah, already done.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm gonna. Is it okay if I change the permission to?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant to come and do, but I got so confused by having too many Chromes open that I forgot. So yes, please.
I just did.
Thank you very much. So we want merge requests. Create merge request. I'm so used to our bot that I've created that automatically creates a merge request every time someone pushes a commit that I get confused when I push and a merge request hasn't been created.
Oh, you did that with a bot? Oh.
I mean, I call it a bot, but yeah, pretty much. It's just
Okay.
like we've got a C# like web API type thing that listens on the webhooks and does it, but we could easily, you know, the bots that I've been creating for us for the pairing sessions using Pipedream would be quite straightforward, I think.
Yeah. I actually am enforcing my colleagues to create them manually.
Have you got some kind of way of reporting or that ensuring that they are actually doing it, or?
No, I'm actually fighting to make them use GitLab. They're too used to what they were using before, which is basically nothing.
Gotcha. So this hasn't worked, which we didn't expect it to. Right, I'm going to try that now. So the other thing is when you've got changes in there, is that changes? I guess it's changes on the merge request.
Yeah, I don't think that's only related to the latest commit.
Yeah. Whereas this, I guess, would have to probably be the commit.
Well, actually, no, that shouldn't be on the commit, because if you don't squash the commits, the latest one might not have the changes.
Interesting. But then it wouldn't generate pipelines for every single commit if you push, like, if you merged and pushed like 5-10 commits or whatever, would it?
No, only one for the latest commit.
Yeah. That looks like that's worked. But that actually doesn't prove what I wanted to prove. I'll show you why that doesn't prove what I wanted to prove. So if I can revert this file back.
Did it actually revert?
It's main, is it?
Yeah.
Let's get this the wrong way around. Which way is it?
Oh, now we got what you were trying to do.
Right, I'll flip that back. What I want to do is have like this.
The namespace also.
Namespace doesn't really matter, in all honesty. I just want to see if the changes picks up the fact that this isn't in the class library folder. It's
okay. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not working.
Next up would be That never works right. It's always that.
Yeah, it should be.
Do this one more. We wrap up in a second.
Yep. And yeah, that has worked.
In which case, we definitely want to improve the docs, and I probably will spin up an MR now that we've tested it.
Yeah.
So
I also wonder why we have only that job. Is it because of the rules?
yeah, we might. Yeah, there you go. It's creating two separate pipelines. This is all related to that fun and games that we've been looking at.
Oh.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Funny, so much funny.
I'm just trying to think if there's a better way of. If I was to change this to this, maybe that would do it on a single.
Otherwise, how could we do that? Because I never had this problem because I am always setting up merge request pipelines and not pipeline for every commit.
Yeah. It's driving me insane, this actually. I think you're probably following the issue. I posted another comment this morning.
Yeah, I had a look.
Although there's a couple of things that I've been working on that are kind of related, right?
Yeah.
I think it's created two again, isn't it?
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm going to call that a day.
Yeah.
No, I just need to get to the office and crack on. But so one potential solution would be to make these other things right. No, because we don't want. In reality, this was only us testing, right? So we'll be getting rid of this.
Yeah. Yeah, we could.
But it's still going to create duplicate pipelines on merge to master because it's going to be running tests and build and other stuff.
Yeah, the other solution would be to use rules on every job.
Yeah, that might help.
If we set up a template job and extend every other job from that, so we don't have to copy and paste the same rules all over again.
Yeah, it's just I think most of the jobs are going to end up with their own rules, though, right?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. Anyway, got a dash. Thanks very much for your time as always, Marco, and hopefully we'll continue attacking this.
Yep.
Awesome. Take care. See you later.
Bye.